Today's openings begin with Barkeep Brown Ale from Trans-Canada Brewing in Winnipeg. They describe it as having notes of roasted chocolate, espresso, and dark cherry, along with some fruity aromas and light carbonation. Well, that's quite a nice beer. I don't usually get beer from them. They don't often do dark stuff, but I like this one. So the first thing in is something that came into my P.O. box anonymously, and it says LED light. Now, I'm going to guess, based on the last several times I've got a small package anonymously that says LED light, that this is going to be another one of those T10 automotive bulbs. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, it is. 3 more T10 automotive bulbs. Wonder what color I've got this time. Oh, that's almost an ultraviolet or near ultraviolet or blacklight kind of a blue. Oh wait, looking at the 3 of them, that one looks like it doesn't have any phosphor on it, and these other 2 do. So maybe that is just the standard LED mode, using a UV LED to excite phosphors, and oh, there we go. To my naked eye, that looks sort of like a red-orange kind of color. Does that make it any easier to see, shining it onto a white surface? There's 2 of them up close to each other. You can actually see the LED dye in that one. And you can see the little phosphor cap that changes color that is not on this one. There will be a link that finds these down below. I've looked at them several times in past videos, as these things seem to keep showing up. The link down below is going to go to this search as usual, and here we go, 12 volt T10 Cob Red. Here's the first one that I found in that search that looks physically like the one that we got. Red, 10 pieces, $5.59 with some shipping. And of course the shipping fee is going to be different depending on where on the planet you happen to be. Alright, next thing in is something that I ordered, and it says it's a camera. Did I order a camera? When did I order this? October 2024. Okay, so I am still deep in my mail queue, so my memory's going to be a little bit hazy of what I ordered way back that far ago. What are we here? It is for a Raspberry Pi by the looks of it. And it is, in fact, a Raspberry Pi camera, specifically revision 1.3. There's not too much on the back of these boards, just it's like 3 active components and a few capacitors and whatnot and resistors. And there doesn't really have to be a lot going on the carrier board, because the majority of the importance is inside the camera module, and then the Raspberry Pi at the other end of this ribbon cable does the rest of the thinking. Raspberry Pi Zero camera module board, 5 megapixel webcam, flex cable, 1080p or 720p. Yeah, if a webcam can do 1080p, it can definitely do 720. There's probably why I bought it. $4.25 American or $6.09 Canadian. Back when I bought it last year, it didn't have shipping on it, but right now they seem to want more than the cost of the item in shipping. Wow. Yeah, back when I bought it, it only cost $1.99 American shipping. Much more reasonable. But the actual price of the unit didn't change, so that's nice. What do we say down here? Fully compatible for Raspberry Pi 0 and 0W. And I've got one of those, and I've got a few more on order. They may actually be up in the mail queue, I'm not sure. But other than that, 15 centimeter cable length, 65 degree lens angle, 1080p 30, 720 at 60, and 640 by 480p. Wow. Not much else to say about it. It is just a standard Raspberry Pi camera. Well, that should be fun. Next thing in is another donation to my P.O. box. This seems to have come from a seller in Mississauga, Ontario, or a supplier in Mississauga, Ontario, although that is usually the cross-shipping warehouse. So we have more of these 5x7 perf boards. Always handy to have around, and I've got a whole bunch of them. Prototyping board 5x7. This search comes up with the cheapest one being 5 pieces for $1.35. Always handy things to have around, as I have mentioned several times in the past when these things have arrived. Then we have this other module in there. Don't recognize that one right off the top. It's got some header pins. It says right on it what it is. It is a mono class D amplifier, 24 dB gain, based on the Ferricom PAM 8302A chip. That guy right there. So a Class D amplifier is basically a digital amplifier. It chops up the analog audio into samples, converts those samples to a much higher voltage, keeping them in the digital domain while it's doing it, and then puts it through a couple of RC filters on the output to basically smooth it out and turn it back into something audible and make the sampling frequency disappear, essentially. It's a very efficient and very modern way of doing audio amplification. Note the lack of heat sink. A pure analog audio amplifier would probably have a fairly large heat sink on it because they're not all that efficient. Class D amplifiers are incredibly efficient for the size of them. So that should be an interesting thing to play with sometime in the future. And little audio amplifiers are always useful to have around. Thank you to my anonymous donor. And the Class D amplifier module, based on the PAM 8302A, looks like you can get these things as cheap as 99 cents with free shipping. That's pretty cool. But they are, as it says, a 2.5 watt Class D mono audio power amplifier board. These things are handy for all sorts of small portable projects. They don't take an awful lot of power. For a hand prop or a wearable or something like that, 2.5 watts is plenty loud enough. And yeah, it's just a tiny, cheap little board that does the job. Very neat. Next in, we have something else that I ordered. It was delivered by a courier, which is odd for these Chinese things, but that is happening more and more often. This is a whole assortment of resistors. This is 300 1-watt resistors from 10 ohm up to 1 mega ohm. Rather than doubling up or tripling up or quadrupling up on the common little 1/4 watt resistors, do I have one over here? Yeah, like these ones here. These guys can handle a full watt of power dissipation without complaining too loudly about it. Oh, and they've even marked the values on the tape. That is awful nice of them. Because, of course, my colorblind eyes can't read the bands at the best of times, even on those tan resistors there. And these ones with the blue background are even harder to read. But now I have, 310, so there's 30 different values of each one. That should be a lifetime supply, probably, except for maybe 1 or 2 of the common values, which I'll probably have to order more of when I run out. But in the meantime, a good stocking for my workshop. 300 pieces, 10 ohm to 1 mega ohm, available in 1/4, 1/2, or 1 watt resistance, metal film resistor assortment. 1% tolerance too, that's nice to see. These are going right now for $7.98. Back when I bought them back in October, they were about $7.49, and yeah, they weren't worrying about the shipping back then either. So things are changing, stuff's getting more expensive, and I assume with the incoming political instability, it's going to get even more expensive in the future. I hope not, but you just never know. These things are unpredictable. Anyway, the 1/4 watt resistors are super cheap, $3.75. The 1/2 watt, $5.32, and the bigger 1 watt ones that I got, there you go. And there are the values included in the kit. Again, all the way from 10 ohms up to 1 mega ohm. Fairly standard values, nothing weird or unusual there, exactly what you want to see. And today's final and largest object is this box, which, again, this was another thing that was sent anonymously by one of you guys to my P.O. box. Thank you so much to whoever's doing this. Ooh, it is a tire pressure gauge. Okay, this one seems to latch and it's got a little reset. That's kind of cool for when your tire pressure. Oh, and I think this one is designed for a bike tire or even history, probably motorcycle tire, because it can kind of reach in there inside. Okay, although I suppose if I look here, we got inflatables range, automobile range, and bicycle range. And what is in the envelope that accompanies it? This is intriguing. I wonder if it's another thing in the same theme or something from a different order. Plastic things. Oh, a whole assortment of stuff. Okay. So this biggest bag, these are plastic trim clips for automotive use, for the trim panels inside your car and whatnot. That goes through the panel and into a hole in the sheet metal, and then you shove that button in and it pops up wider like that and just latches it in. And then you grab a screwdriver to pop under there and take it out. I'm sure they make a tool for that as well. I can almost guarantee they do. Automotive dudes, please check in with me down below, but I'm pretty confident there is a tool for that. That's interesting. What are these? These look like more of the same in a slightly different shape. Again, when you push the centerpiece in, you see that those prongs spread out and latch it in. And then, again, you presumably use a special tool or a screwdriver to pop it apart if you need to get in behind the panel. And these things do tend to break in the car, especially if you're working on them in the Canadian winter. So having a whole bunch of these spare, I guess, is a good thing, should I be working on my car. And then the third thing, the most interesting and the most electronic related thing in that envelope. What have we got here? We have little LED arrows, chevrons, wired on. Okay, 3 of them. That's kind of neat. I bet those would be for turn signals on a car or a motorcycle or something like that, wouldn't they? I'm going to guess that these are probably 12 volt. They're probably automotive, just based on what they're surrounded by. Let's see what happens when we give them some power. I'm stripping out these wires. They came up really, really fine. It's probably not going to draw a whole hell of a lot of current. And it's going to be difficult to clamp down into these Wagos. Well, let's see what happens when we turn it on. First thing that happens is it draws about 75 milliamps. And it's blue. So, turn signal, something like that, maybe? Are they all the same? Yeah, that one's blue. That one's blue, so I'm going to guess that that one is also blue. Yeah, blue LED arrows. Those are pretty cool. I've never seen little circuit boards in that shape before, but of course you can custom make a circuit board in literally any shape you want. And these look like they're pretty efficient to manufacture because they all come out of a single board with no waste when you chop them out. Neato, thank you. Well, the search that seems to find these things is just simply automotive clips and fasteners under the body moldings and trims category. And there is a package of 20 for $9.97 of that style. And of course, there are a whole bunch of other styles of panel clips and body clips. You can even buy assortments. But I will leave this search down below for you. And the search that finds the tire pressure gauge is a tire pressure gauge. This is exactly the one here. Looks like they're selling in Buy It Now for $5.89. So for the LED arrows, the search that seems to find them in the automotive category is LED arrow. And it looks like the cheapest you can get them for, at least right now, is $1.42 for a pair of them. They come in different colors, and that's what they're for. They go in behind the glass of the mirror, of the wing mirrors. Okay. That's neat. I didn't know those were available as an aftermarket part. I guess why wouldn't they be though? So you can get them in yellow, blue, red, or green, and the ones that I was sent were blue. So there's 14 LEDs on each one of these things, and they're 1210 size surface mount LEDs. Okay. And there's the contents of today's Mailbag Monday haul. Another wide variety and lots of surprises. Starting with another set of these T10 LED bulbs. I'm getting quite a collection of these things. Also anonymously donated with some more of these 5x7 perf boards and this neat little audio amplifier board. That should be fun to play with. I ordered a Raspberry Pi camera to go with my Pi Zero for a future probably security camera or remote monitoring kind of camera project. And I ordered a whole bag full of 1-watt resistors. Those are probably going to end up in power supply type projects, or if I need to dissipate an awful lot of power to drop voltage to LEDs or something like that. And then we have this whole package of stuff over here. A couple of different types of automotive panel clips. A tire pressure gauge, which is always a useful thing to have. I've got one in the garage, and I think I'll put that with the kids' bikes, actually. And what else was with that? Yes, these neat little LED arrows. They're intended to go inside the wing mirrors of your car to echo or repeat, I guess, the turn signals. But I think we can probably find something more interesting and non-automotive to use them for. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in once again. Thanks to the anonymous donors who keep sending me wild and random and unusual stuff. I appreciate that. And of course, thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube channel members for helping keep my beer fridge full and helping me not go bankrupt when ordering stuff to stock up my shop and for future projects. I appreciate all of you. Any questions and comments, as usual, leave them down below in the comments section. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you later.